It is the Sleep It Riot.
It's a riot.
It's the riot.
It's Monday. Maybe not when you're listening to this, but when we're doing this podcast, it's Monday.
I told Nikki that I feel like I have had, like I have taken Benadryl or something.
Yeah.
Like that's
a little
just,
disconnected.
Yes, that is just how like knocked out tired I am today. And why is that different from other days? This is a different kind of tired.
Well, it feels more like, I've had a cold for the last couple of days. It could be a pre-cold. It could be a post-cold. It could be a current cold.
One of my roommates has a cold.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, seriously, just stay away from me. Oh, thanks for sneezing all over the kitchen.
Here it comes. So
This
maybe
is
that's
great.
where you're tired, but it's a different type of tired.
Yeah, it could be. So, hey, in the podcast today, we talk about, the food I had on Saturday. Come on. And this is for all of you that are thinking about getting married someday. You need to hear this, okay?
Or if you're throwing any sort of party about food at a party.
At all. We also talk Michelle Obama, fat shaming, not connected, MoviePass, Six Flags, keeping your engagement ring away from the bad guys.
How can you do that?
Superman, McNuggets. There's a lot here.
Uh-huh.
So I hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Remember, we've got some new stuff posted on our Facebook and YouTube channels. So if you want to see us drinking the voodoo or playing the Gears 5.
That's a Riot food fight, and then our Obadiah plays. We should also be doing a Riot skips work. Obi's birthday. Let's pre-plan, guys. Obadiah's birthday is on Saturday this week, so we'll be celebrating during the Fridays podcast.
Yeah.
So we've got some special stuff coming up.
Okay, so let's have a real talk moment.
Yeah.
There's us doing an Obadiah skips work for birthday breakfast. Then there's also birthday lunch.
Yeah, the two are different, so you get both.
I was thinking maybe we do birthday lunch on Monday.
That's a good idea. Or you could always do it Thursday if you want. Or you could do it Monday. It just depends on... More people would be there Monday.
That's what I was thinking. So, because I want everyone to get a chance to celebrate me.
You don't want to miss out on anybody having that.
I want everyone...
You're right. Monday probably would be better.
To be a part of that. So, and you guys too, just remember, go ahead and celebrate me. It's fine.
Just plan on Monday that you go out and eat somewhere.
Yeah. So just eat something in my honor and I'll love it.
Okay. So that's coming up later this week for our podcast. Just be aware.
Well, you guys have a fantastic Monday because Monday is the best day.
Thank you for listening to the podcast today.
Bye.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
So, Nikki, how was the weekend? Was it good?
It was pretty good.
It's Monday.
I know, and the weekend's over.
So what did you do? Anything?
Not too much probably worth mentioning. Nothing too spectacular.
No, Nikki, you make it spectacular.
No, I can't even do that. It was probably that boring.
You can't dress it up?
No, I don't think I can.
Man, I DJ'd a wedding this weekend, and let me tell you, there is to me the best wedding that I've ever been to, and I'm talking about the reception and the food, was one that I went to out in Maryland, and they had Chick-fil-A, Chinese food.
Was it Panda Express or
pizza.
Was it just Chinese food?
No, I think it was another local Chinese restaurant, pizza, and I think something else. It was incredible.
It was all the foods you want at a wedding that normally no one ever wants to go to.
Well, and you say to yourself, like, do we want Chick-fil-A? Do we want pizza? Do we want whatever? And we'll have all of it, and we'll have it at the wedding.
Yes, so it was one you would need to go to.
It was incredible. Well, over the weekend, I did a daytime wedding, which I don't do a whole lot of those, but they started Saturday at 11. And you know what they had at the reception? Brunch.
They did?
They had a waffle bar and a dude, in a white hat slinging waffles, making waffles, waffle. And then they had one of the biggest displays of bacon I've ever seen.
Ooh, did they do the tower design? I've seen that before.
No, it was just a big old tub where they just kept putting bacon in it.
They build it up like a building, so it has to be structurally sound.
Wow. I haven't seen that.
And then they sprinkle brown sugar and stuff down on it.
No, not that. This was just slay the fatted pig.
And put it in a bucket. It's out there.
So, they had the bacon, eggs, potatoes, and sausage and biscuits and gravy.
You like all that?
Oh, friend. It was awesome. And a lot of times when I go to a wedding, as a DJ, I'm always... Okay, I love this. I have talked to a lot of other people that work at weddings, and most of them are like, yeah, one of the best parts about coming to a wedding is you get to eat the great food.
Are you supposed to eat after, or
a lot of times they'll
save some for everybody else? Man,
I've done everything from them letting you eat to them forcing you to eat at a table outside so no one can see you. I mean, like I've run the whole gamut. I've had people invite me to eat with them at the head table. I mean, it's like I feel like I've seen it all.
And then ones that have asked you just to politely eat outside the door.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's something about weddings I don't like to eat when I'm working. But I'll tell you this right now. When I went to a wedding where they had brunch.
You were in?
Oh, I could not eat. I was like, this is the best wedding ever.
Did they do like then a early cake or something? Or
they did cupcakes.
Cupcakes.
You know, I don't know if you're up on what's vogue with wedding things,
but
of course,
cupcakes are always in.
They're really the thing. You know, nowadays it's like bride and groom cake, and everybody else gets a cupcake.
That's all you get.
So I had a cupcake, and it was good.
And brunch.
Cupcakes and brunch.
You had a great weekend.
They had coffee in the back, so I had coffee and cupcakes and
bacon.
You know what? All in all, not bad.
Pretty good.
I ate a whole way better breakfast than I would have had if I just stayed home. So I'll just tell you, whether you're getting married or not, if you want to bring me out for brunch, 8772 RadioU.
He's up for it.
You know where we are.
Maybe the Riot would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Nikki, you and I have got to start a book tour.
Why would we? Oh, to make money.
No.
Well, I think that's why a lot of people do a book tour.
No, that's ridiculous.
Because they're not free.
And you know what? I think no. I just completely resist that idea. It's about meeting people.
Yeah.
It's about getting out there.
Well, you had to make a book first.
No problem.
We can come up with that.
Well, what do we do? Okay, we're going to start a business, and we're going to get a loan. And then we're going to use part of that loan to pay an advance to a ghostwriter. And that ghostwriter will write the story of our epic lives, which we will then turn into an inspirational thing, sell the movie rights, and then you and I will be on tour.
No, I think most people ask if we'll ever do like a tell-all of like our history and radio.
Yeah.
Which could be an easy book, but probably a sad book to write.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically, we'll just tell you it really comes down to who's the jerk and who's not.
I know.
And I'll just tell you right now, it's not the people you think.
I know. The nice ones tend to not be usually the nicest.
The people behind the mic. I mean, I could tell you right now who I think's the biggest jerk I've encountered, but I won't.
See, save it for the book.
Save it for the book.
And then save it for the book tour.
Right. So we do this book tour, and then here's the thing. You sell tickets for people to be in the audience, but it's where you do the behind-the-scenes meet and greet.
The packages?
Oh, yeah. You really ratchet the money up. And so I was looking here. You and I could, if we wanted to go to Michelle Obama's book tour.
Yeah.
Now, VIP passes are only $2,500.
Whoa! A piece?
Well, I was going to say you have to buy them in pairs.
Oh, okay. So it's a pair. Well, that doesn't even actually make it any better.
No, it's $5,000 because they're $25 each.
Oh my gosh!
But you're required to buy a pair.
What do you get for that?
Well, okay, it's funny you should ask that. You get you get to get in line.
Well, everybody does, but do you mean early?
No. You get to get in line where you will get to meet Michelle Obama and get your picture taken. And then you'll also get a free copy of the book.
Great.
Free?
Wow.
Oh, okay.
It's $5,000. That's worth it.
There will be refreshments.
That's a lot of money.
What do you think the refreshments are like when you're paying $2,500 to be there?
Probably a light cocktail hour. A lot like your brunch.
There's not going to be alcohol, Nikki.
Oh, no, I bet there probably would be.
No.
And they're probably going to be
available for purchase.
They'll be similar to like the book. Like there'll be stories to go along with the drinks.
So the book is called Becoming, and here is our locally sourced honey from the bees.
Well, that's a pass on that. I mean, $5,000 is a lot of money.
Hey, listen. I'm just spitballing here.
Just throwing it out there.
Just trying to come up with it, whatever.
Most authors don't do the stadium tours like that. They'll be doing a local bookstore.
Like a book signing?
Yeah, and then they just go, and it's usually free, and you're purchasing the book itself.
I'll personalize it for 50 cents.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to charge anymore.
Economies of scale, guys. Economies of scale.
Most people, that style. Every so often you get one person doing the other style.
Well, Nikki, really, I feel like you and I would only have to sell probably 150 to 200 of these VIP passes for us to be in good shape for a while.
I feel like, honestly, our book would be a free download, not even in print.
Pamphlet.
Yeah, so you got to start somewhere, and that's fine.
You know what? That's right. As we build our multimedia empire, oh my gosh. Okay. For an extra $5,000, you can get your picture taken with internet celebrities, cinnamon sugar pup tarts.
My doggies? Well, they'll be there too. I'll take them on tour.
We're going to leverage their celebrity to increase our revenue stream.
Okay, well, let's keep working on it, and we'll see what happens. But that's a lot. That's a lot for later down our career.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
when our career's really down.
When we launch next year, our new multimedia empire.
If it's louder than it has to be and way worse than it has any right to be, it must be the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Well, I got to tell you that it's kind of a bummer what we're coming with this morning, and that is that our good friends, great memories that we all had together. MoviePass is...
Oh, I don't know about friends being the right term, or...
Nikki.
Acquaintances, former BFFs, but then you broke up.
Yeah, we did, but you know what? Let's not trash talk the relationship that was.
It was still a good relationship while you had it.
It was tumultuous, sure. But I mean, it started out, it's one of the best relationships I've ever been in my life. And now it's dead. Oh, gosh.
We'll start at the beginning for those that don't remember.
So MoviePass is this. MoviePass, it was a service that you could, when it started, pay $40 a month for. And for $40 a month, you could go to a movie theater, see any movie you wanted.
It was really $40 a month?
It sure was.
Was that expensive?
It sure was. And because I remember reading about it and thinking, man, I just don't go to the movies enough to justify $40 a month.
But then they changed their price.
Then they dropped their price to $10 a month. And for $10 a month, you could go to one movie a day every day.
You had to order the tickets when you were there. Like there were some
safeguards.
Couldn't pre-order stuff ahead, but It was still something that you could, for $10, a lot of people joined in.
The process was you would show up. They gave you I think it was a MasterCard. You would show up with the app. You would then check in. It would do a GPS check to make sure you were near the theater. You'd have 30 minutes to purchase your tickets, et cetera, whatever. So they didn't do so well. Well, okay, they did great.
Yeah, at
$10 a month when it started. And then people did the worst thing they could do. They started using the service.
It was like, oh, there it is. And too many people did.
And too many people used the service, and as a result, they started gimping it, basically. Okay, you can only use it on these days. You can only go to these movies. You can only go to a movie once. Oh, look, the server's down for the whole weekend.
Basically, the company did not actually have the money to hold up to that infrastructure that they set up. And it was one of the Avengers movies where they started saying, oh, you can only go see that movie once, period, during its entire run. And then even up to the price changing from them and MoviePass, this past summer, starting, I think it was 4th of July, was like, oh, you can't just go this weekend. I mean, it's the 4th of July. That's the big movie weekend. But they're like, oh, nope, it's closed down for the weekend.
I tried to see The Avengers, and I tried to see The Equalizer 2 and whatever. And I ended up having to pay for tickets to all of those movies. And I was finally like, we're done.
So you canceled MoviePass then.
I got out more than a year ago.
And finally, they're saying they needed a new set of investors to pay for it. They couldn't get it, so MoviePass is done.
It's done, Nikki.
Completely done?
Completely done.
No more.
No short-term done, no maybe done, no whatever done.
Completely finished?
It's actually why I quit. Because I was afraid at some point they would do something crazy, like change the term of service and then just charge me. Because that really didn't seem out of the question.
Sure, they would just charge your card, but you get nothing.
For some of the shenanigans that we've seen them do. So, yeah, they're done.
Was anybody still a member of MoviePass, like who's listening right now, or did everybody else jump out?
Somebody was. Somebody out there
was still using it?
Was still using MoviePass. I had a friend of mine that was using it, and he said, yeah, even with all the weird restrictions, I'm still more than getting my money out of it. So he had a lot of flexibility in his schedule.
Now he's got nothing.
Well, I'll say this. I did the MoviePass competitor from AMC. What do they call it? Stubbs A-List. That was a good deal for me for a while, but it's not close enough. If that theater that we like to go to, if they started up a MoviePass-like service, I'd not even blinking. I'd jump in right away.
So if you're a MoviePass member, I'm sure they told you. If not, that's awkward.
You probably got the email.
I'm sure someone told you somehow, but MoviePass is gone.
The only morning show brave enough to say that chicken McNuggets are part of a balanced breakfast. The Riot on Radio U.
I don't know if you guys saw this over the weekend. It was buzzworthy. Everybody's talking about it. Where Bill Maher and then James Corden were.
Oh, yes.
It was interesting. Bill Maher, this honestly, in this day and age, fascinates me that someone would be willing to come out and say this. He wants to bring back fat shaming.
It's worth watching both of the videos that go with it.
It is. I watched both.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because in this time when we're like, you can't say anything about anybody for any reason whatsoever.
But Bill Maher still says stuff.
Yeah, he does.
He still, like, every couple of weeks gets pulled out for something that he said. And for some reason, he gets away with it.
That's kind of the thing that gets me is he says a lot of, honestly, just mean things about a lot of people, but for some reason he's great.
Well, he walks the line between talk show host / kind of a comedian, not really, but I don't know. He's just always been known for that, so I feel like he gets a pass more than others.
Right. So, okay. Then you've got James Corden, who is just like, hey, look, I'm fat. I've been fat my whole life. Believe me, if fat shaming worked, I'd be really skinny. And I would just like to say that he's right. I can remember, I still very clearly remember being made fun of in preschool. Preschool, guys, so that's 3 or 4. I think I was 3. I remember getting made fun of for being fat. I still remember it.
It's still in there.
Yeah. So when I was 3, I remember that. So I think James Corden's got a great point. If shame worked, I'd be
Everybody would be skinny.
Yeah, it would totally work. But in the middle of all this, something even better has emerged than this, and that is Brianna Wu. Now, listen, she may not be the first person who has used this term, but Nick just showed it to me, and it might be my favorite thing ever. And that is, let me read you her tweet. Now, she is running to be a state representative in Massachusetts. You ready?
Yeah.
I believe strongly we need anti-discrimination laws to protect people of size.
People of size.
I'm thinking about adding that to my Twitter and Facebook profiles.
You want it in your bio?
I want to be a person of size.
Well, you can put that there.
I'm not fat. I'm not overweight. I'm not whatever. I'm a person of size.
So you like that?
Oh, I like it so much. What are you, person of size? What size? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, and you're not allowed to ask.
You can't ask. Just accept that I'm a person of size,
and that's the discrimination part of it.
So you can't discriminate against me for being a person of size? You can't do that?
But you like the term.
Oh, I like it so much. I plan on using it sarcastically.
Well, listen, you never know when it might pop back out again, okay?
I just feel like it's one of those things that I want to tuck away for just the right opportunity.
Good idea.
Just the right opportunity. I've been using fat shaming a lot. Somebody the other day was like, oh, you're eating that? I was like, don't you fat shame me, which is great because you should see the look on people's faces.
Like, they're like, I did not mean to do that.
And now I can add, them. Of course I am. And so now I can add person of size into that mix. Oh, yes. This is Arsenal in the game.
Add it to the list.
And I'll tell you what, non-people of size can never understand what it's like to be a person of size. You can't understand. Yep, it's good.
They even make morning people want to reach for the snooze button. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Happy Monday. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. Yay. So great of a weekend.
I had a great weekend. I got in a bad movie over the weekend.
Which one did you watch?
Well, is it a bad movie or was it just an old movie?
Yeah, because you kind of, on the weekends, some might realize, but Obi likes to watch an old movie. Sometimes they're classic old movies. Sometimes they're just bad old movies.
Sometimes not so much. So I watched on Netflix, Poseidon. Poseidon released May 12th, 2006.
So not the original, which you watched a few weeks ago.
I did.
This was the remake.
It was. And you know what? It was okay.
How's the special effects hold up?
Oh, all right. In some cases, very well. But the movie opens up with, I can't remember the actor's name, but he's out for a run on the deck of this ship. He's not on a ship. It's completely CGI. And it looks terrible. Like, terrible. And I wonder if at the time people are like, oh, yeah, it's fine.
He's on a ship,
like,
obviously.
You didn't even notice. But I can tell you right now, watching it, it's like, that's not real. None of this is real. Like, look at that. It's not real. That was awful. Like, honestly. But then once they're inside the ship.
Not so bad.
They obviously spent bank on the sets, making stuff blow up and turn over and, like, all this kind of crazy stuff. So, I don't know. It was really fun to watch the original and then watch the follow-up and kind of compare the two, like looking for things that were similar, things that were not similar, things they had done differently, certain sequences where you're like, oh, they're doing this one now. So, like, for example, there's a bellboy. That's probably not the right word for it, but there's a guy, he's like a waiter or something that helps in the original movie, he helps them through the ship. And in this one, he also does, but they both kind of in the movie die in the same way.
Now, come on.
Most of the people die. So he's the first one to go, so I feel like it's fair. So
stop it.
He dies. Spoilers for this 40 and 13-year-old movie?
Well, you're making people interested in seeing it. No, I'm not going to watch it. Okay. Because now I know he's the first to die.
It's so funny because in the first one, it's like he dies, and in the second one, they pretty much kill him. You have to see it to get it, but it's like I'll just tell you, whatever. We've already spoiled it. In the first movie, he accidentally falls down the shaft. In the remake, they're like, he's dead weight, kick him off. He kicks the guy in the head and kicks him down the shaft.
Why?
Because otherwise, he's gonna die. And I was like, oh yeah,
times have changed.
Times have changed. It's like, get off my leg. I'm not going to die for you, bellboy.
Yeah, go on down.
Yeah.
Well, you're really sewing it on these old movies that you're watching on the weekends.
I enjoyed it. I don't understand why, but there's something about watching a movie that's old that I feel like I can just watch it how I want to watch it. I can make fun of it. I can laugh at it. I can enjoy it. But if I watch a new movie, I feel like I have to pay attention. I have to care. Like all of this stuff. And
you can't really tell people what you think about it because it's still in the time frame where people care about it.
People are too sensitive.
Yeah.
And so instead of watching, this is so dumb, Godzilla, King of Monsters, which I bought last week, instead I watched this 13-year-old movie on Netflix and had a blast watching it.
Had a good time.
Is it a great movie? No. Did I enjoy watching it? Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Citizens.
Which I think is exactly what you would say when you're done watching Godzilla, too.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Is it a good movie? Yeah! But did you enjoy watching it?
Yeah, absolutely.
The Riot is to your ears what all those energy drinks are to your liver.
For the love of God, please stop! I can only process so much.
The Riot, Radio U.
So who's still playing Minecraft? Anybody?
I still know people that dabble in it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not what it used to be.
Actually, you're wrong.
Is it?
It's way more than it used to be.
Really?
Uh-huh.
All right.
That's what's fascinating about this.
Did people leave Fortnite to go back to it?
Well, we've talked about this on the show before. The number 2 principle. And you're like, you're disgusting. Yeah.
No, it's not about that.
No. The number 2 principle is this, that if you're everybody's number 2, eventually you're number 1. Nobody goes to you first, but everybody still goes to you.
You just want people to still come to the game that you're presenting.
And that's exactly what happens with Minecraft.
Sometimes when you're number one for so long, people get burnt out, and then you can never regain that glory.
So just to give you an idea, like right now, some other games, these statistics are old. Looking at August 2018, Fortnite had about 80 million players. Okay, Roblox had about 100 million players.
Mm-hmm.
As of August of 2019, Minecraft has 112 million players.
Active players, monthly active players.
Active monthly players.
That's the difference.
We're not talking about sold, whatever. I'm saying that in August of 2019, 112 million people logged into and played Minecraft.
That's amazing.
It's crazy.
Still playing.
And I think it's fascinating because I don't hear anybody really talking about it. It's that thing that nobody really talks about, but everybody does.
It's the Poseidon of the game. No, I'm just teasing from Obi's earlier talk.
It's not.
It's the old game of.
It's the old game.
It's still around, still gets updates, still used.
Actually, when did Minecraft come out? Nobody knows. But it's amazing to think 112 million players. So just because, think about this. There's always that game that's getting all the publicity. But what's the one that everybody's really checking out?
You still play it.
What's everybody really playing?
Might not tell people you still play it, but you still play it.
But you still play it. And they say that's the strength of Minecraft, is that even though it doesn't gather all the press, everybody's off doing the real fancy thing. But then when they're done, they're like, yeah, I'll play Minecraft for a little while. And that's where they make the monies.
You're listening to a morning show hosted by two people who absolutely despise getting up in the morning.
Will you give me a break one time?
The Riot, RadioU.
You're on a train, and you're on a train that is being robbed and or hijacked. There's so much going on.
What year is this?
Well, I mean, it could still happen. Is there a movie? I'm trying to think of a movie where we see this. I don't know. But, it doesn't seem completely out of the question that you might be on a train. Maybe you're taking Amtrak across the United States, and it gets robbed. And so you're freaking out, and there's all this commotion, and you don't know what's going on. And then you don't want them to steal your engagement ring. It means a lot to you. You love it. So you swallow it.
Which I think is what she would get from watching a movie. Because a lot of times,
like a movie.
Yeah, like you'll see, okay, what am I going to do? All right, swallow the ring. They can't steal it from you.
They won't be able to get it then.
But this was not actually happening, though.
Mm-hmm. Jenna was having a dream about this happening. So she apparently, in her sleep, reached next to her bedside table or I don't know if it was actually on her finger or what.
I thought she took it off her finger.
She may have taken it off, but she has some water next to her bed because she said that she woke up drinking water, swallowing her engagement ring, and then went back to sleep. And she said she thought that swallowing the engagement ring was also a dream. Mm-hmm. So, she had the dream about being on the train.
It was a high-speed train with bad guys.
See, bad guys, Nikki. The bad guys were they were going to take a ring.
So she took a ring off her finger, swallowed it with the water that was next to it, thought it was all a dream, but then woke up the next morning, wondered where her ring was, and then it all came back to her.
She's like, wait a minute. I think I swallowed my engagement ring.
So then they had to go to the hospital.
So she tells her fiance what happens. They laugh and laugh and laugh. They go, they get some x-rays done. There it is. And then she starts feeling the ring enter her small intestine, and it starts to hurt. And the doctors were like, listen, we don't think it's a very good idea to let this run its course.
I think sometimes, depending on the ring and where it's at, and maybe your body.
Your body, sure.
They'll just let it happen naturally, mm-hmm. or they have to take it out, and that's what they said for her. She needed it taken out.
She got an upper GI endoscopy, and you know what? I know what this lady looks like on the inside.
Because you saw, she posted on Facebook.
Yeah, she posted the photos of the endoscopy, and it's kind of gross. But they put the camera and the little whatever in there, grabbed it, and pulled it out. That is like the craziest claw game you have ever played.
They said that she was crying a lot because she was so mad because she waited a long time to get an engagement ring and to marry somebody. And she's not yet married, but she's got the engagement ring, and she was pretty upset.
She said
she didn't want to die.
Well, that's what she said. She was like, none of it seemed very serious until she had to sign the waiver forms that were like, yeah, if I die during surgery, I'm not going to sue you.
Aw, they said that the surgery only took a couple of minutes, but because of the anesthesia that she took and just maybe a reaction to it, she would cry hysterically and be inconsolable for a lot longer. It was just really emotional for her, but she's fine. She's better now.
She's fine. And the ring is out. They gave her ring back to her fiance, who then gave it to her.
Yeah, aw. So she didn't mean to do it, but it just happened.
Nikki.
What?
Could you wear that ring?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. Because technically she hasn't even been married yet.
Yeah.
So it was just an engagement ring. Which you could switch out.
Would you be like, look, we're going to get it cleaned up and then we got to sell it because I got to get a new one?
Well, some people sleep in jewelry, but at that point, you better not. Like, she should put that away.
Oh, she needs to put it in a lockbox.
Each night, she needs to not have jewelry next to her or she had it on her hand. She needs to not go to sleep wearing jewelry.
Well, let me tell you what's going to happen. Every night she's going to go to bed going, don't swallow your ring, don't swallow your ring, don't swallow your ring. And eventually she's going to swallow it again because she's so scared that she will.
She's
just going to do it.
Yeah, it's totally going to happen again. Man. She's going to be so upset and she'll never be able to have a good night's sleep again.
She needs to go through some kind of weird regression therapy to completely remove the idea
of the ring,
of eating jewelry from her mind.
Well, Lisa came out. She's fine. And they're still getting married.
Things are never as bad as they seem, except when it comes to the riot. Then, they're worse. They're always worse. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Do you have what it takes to lay in a coffin? Then how would you feel?
Is it a competition or what is it?
How would you feel about $600 and some free Fright Fest passes?
If you lay in a coffin?
Something like that.
Like it's a contest to win it?
Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey is bringing back the Coffin Challenge. So it requires contestants to lay in a closed coffin for 30 hours.
No, thank you.
So you'll get to go to bathroom breaks occasionally, and there's a mesh opening on top so you can breathe.
So it's not like completely closed up?
Mm-hmm. So the grand prize winner, who will win points by winning games and participating in challenges. So it's not just that you're going to be in this coffin. Apparently, you're also going to play games and do challenges, and I have no idea what those are. But you'll win 2 Six Flags Gold passes, 2 Fright Fest Haunted Maze passes, and some money. So what do you think? Is it worth it?
You know, because you said it had the mesh on the top. I think if you were like, oh, you could sleep here for 30 hours, that might actually be doable.
Might not be so bad.
I don't think I would get claustrophobic or anything, but if it's more of a competition-driven contest thing...
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you're giving me enough if we win.
You know what? This would be where I wouldn't make it right here. This is the part where it doesn't work out. Games where your scoring points include live bugs, pungent food items, and trivia. Also, you'll receive surprise visits from Fright Fest freaks. So,
the characters,
yeah. But also live critters like spiders, skunks, and snakes.
No, thank you. It just seems like so much work to win that competition.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You got to spend 30 hours. Now, let's break that down. That would be 5 6-hour work days. So if I could get a part-time job, let's say making $10 an hour, okay, then I could make about $300, which admittedly is not the $600 I could win. But
pretty darn close.
If they're going to report that $600 as winnings instead of earnings,
you're not getting it all.
Just federal tax alone, you're paying 40% on that.
You're going to have to put it on there.
Plus, you might end up having to pay tax on the passes that they're giving you. So unless they're paying the taxes for you, it's really not that great.
So what we're saying is if it was just laying in a coffin for 30 hours and you got caught up on your sleep, maybe.
So here's a couple of other details, Nikki. Participants must stay in the coffin except for a 13-minute bathroom break every 3 hours.
Pretty good.
Participants who step outside the coffin for any reason, with the exception of designated bathroom breaks, or to participate in challenges, will be disqualified. All meals must be eaten
In the coffin?
In the coffin.
Your food's provided, though.
Yeah, I mean, you got bugs and snakes and stuff.
Oh,
so you're
getting Six Flags food.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That you're not going to feel bad after that.
Not the worst.
You'll feel great, actually. So
it wouldn't hit you till you were home. That's how that works.
You hope. You hope.
This just reminds me of a neighbor down the road in the neighborhood I used to live who had the coffin, like during Halloween. They put a coffin in their yard.
Yeah.
It's like, where do you store that thing? What do you do with that the rest of the year?
You just sleep in it.
Do you store things in your coffin? Like, is it helpful?
Sure. That's actually a great idea.
It's like, I'll put it back in the basement.
So last year when they did this, 4,000 people applied for it.
How many people get to participate in it?
Only 6.
Are chosen?
Mm-hmm. 6 of 4,000. So if you're up for it, we wish you the best of luck as you take on the coffin challenge.
Yeah! You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki, I'd like to talk about truth, justice, and the American way.
Uh-huh.
I'd like to talk about Superman.
What about him?
Well, Superman, even though it hasn't been doing like that great at the movies.
Sure. Well, wait, which one was he? Was he Henry Cavill?
He has an S on his chest.
No, I know that. But who most recently portrayed? That was Henry Cavill. And is he still Superman?
I don't think so. Like,
they're just not talking about it yet.
They don't talk about it.
Same with like Batman.
DC is like, forget about Superman. What about the Joker?
Wait, which one? Batman's the one Twilight guy now.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson.
Okay, but no update on like Superman.
No. I thought Henry Cavill was a great Superman. And I think Man of Steel is a great movie.
I
said it.
He's on the record.
There. Take that. That is a good movie. I know that what's-his-face from Field of Dreams screws it up a little bit.
Kevin Costner?
He doesn't bring like he should. But you know what? Henry Cavill's a good Superman.
Makes up for it.
Yeah, he does. Come on.
So is there something new for him?
Well, it looks like Superman may be going public with his secret identity.
What's that mean?
Well, it means
he's taking the glasses off?
In the comic books, he's going to come forward and say, I am Superman, I am Clark Kent.
Sure.
So it's not 100%. We don't know for sure. But Nikki, and Lois Lane #7 and Superman 18, both of which will be out in December, it looks like there is going to be an enormous change that will
take place.
I
don't mean this in a rude way.
Go ahead.
But
then be rude.
No, it's not.
Go ahead.
Anybody else, like, I didn't even think they were still making comic books, honestly.
At all?
At all?
Any comic books at all?
Like, are they printing them or is it just digital?
Oh, they're printing them.
They're still printing them?
Oh, yeah. People still buy them.
All right. Well, I guess I just didn't know that they were still, like, current ones.
They're still doing it? Yeah. I actually need to go read some of the Superman stuff because, okay, here's your nerd
Apparently
alert,
a
Nikki.
lot has changed.
Well, Brian Michael Bendis, who used to write for Marvel, and he's written so many just fantastic stories. He is now writing Superman. And what am I doing? I should be over there reading that. I don't know.
Well, you're busy with other stuff.
I'm not over there reading it, but I should be. I really should be.
Does Superman, is there, is that a part of, I don't even know how to say it.
Go ahead, Nikki. Try to be condescending.
I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm not. I'm trying to be, because doesn't DC have an app for their comic books?
They do.
Okay, and Superman is DC, right?
Yeah.
So can't you just read it on that?
I don't think so.
Is it just older comic books?
Remember that? I subscribed to DC Universe. They had their free trial, and I did the first month of it, and I just thought it was terrible. I couldn't figure it out. I was like, where's the this? What's that? I don't want to watch any of these TV shows. And so I just canceled it.
Okay, so you haven't used it in a while.
Nah.
I was just trying to figure out a way for you to watch or read the comic books for the newest ones.
I know. I need to just get in there.
They have a library. Not sure.
Maybe. That's a great idea.
Try the library.
I could check the local library.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm going to do that.
Whose app is probably better than the DC app?
Didn't like the DC app. Let's see, Brian Michael Bendis. Okay, don't worry about me, guys. I'm going to be in the online catalog, but it looks like Superman's going to be out there telling the world about a secret. I don't know.
When is that supposed to appear in the comic books?
December.
So
you got 3 months, to get your Christmas music ready. and get ready to read the comic book thing.
To see what's going on.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's The Riot on Radio U.
I had a pretty busy weekend. I really did. Like, I DJ'd a wedding on Saturday, and then I did some public speaking yesterday. That took up the majority of my morning. And you know what? If you want to, you can see an archive of that on my Twitter. I tweeted it. But after such a busy weekend, Nikki, I decided that I deserved a treat.
Yeah.
And I was standing there telling one of my friends, like, yeah, man, I DJ'd a wedding, did this today. Like, I'm tired, and I get a treat. When I told them my treat was, they treat shamed me.
They did?
They treat shamed me.
Was it food or was it like a movie?
It was food. It was food.
Was it soda?
No.
Gas station hot dog?
No. See if you can guess it.
Fries?
Fries were involved.
Spicy chicken nuggets.
No. Listen.
Taco Bell?
Okay. Certainly not. I mean,
it could be. They have fries. It could be.
It could be. You're right. But knowing me, you should know that that's not going to happen.
Hey, every so often, you do
true.
go in for
every
Taco Bell.
I do.
Don't
She's
play
right.
it off
She's
like
not
you
lying.
don't.
She's not lying. Okay. So I went and got my chicken McNuggets yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For McDonald's?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Why'd someone shame you for that?
They told me, like, it's just nothing but pink. His take was, he's like, wait, you're telling me you did all this work and your reward? He's like, it's not a steak. It's not a whatever. It's not going out for something nice. It's chicken McNuggets.
I see nothing wrong with that.
And the answer is yes. That's right. Because chicken McNuggets are like Doritos. You have to lock them behind a wall. They're so good and so available. They're just everywhere. You can get them anytime you want, really. And so I have to put hurdles. Build walls. I have to build walls around chicken McNuggets.
It's not an everyday food, all right?
It can't be. It could be, which is why it can't be.
I understand.
And so I went and I got mine. And, you know, Nikki, I normally get a 10-piece. And that's another wall I've built. It's 10, that's all you get. But yesterday, they had a thing where if you bought a 10-piece for an extra $1.
How many more did you get?
You could have an extra 10-piece.
20 nuggets?
I didn't eat all of them.
Okay, I was going to say, that's a lot for one sitting.
But I still felt like when I was sitting there with a bag in my hand, I was like, be careful, because you have right now wandered into an area that could be dangerous. Because if we become permissive about chicken McNuggets and about the quantity of those nuggets when we, in fact, cross over the nugget wall.
You're right.
We could be headed down a very dangerous path.
Yeah, but what a way to celebrate. You're a simple man, you know?
I know.
A simple man with simple wants and needs.
I sat there watching Digital Foundry on YouTube
while you eat
eating chicken McNuggets, and I was just like, you know what?
Oh, boy.
I don't know whether this is glorious or I'm so ashamed I don't want anyone to know.
If anybody shames you, they're just jealous, all right? That you can find such simple happiness out of a small little chicken McNuggets.
Hey, man, I had some McNuggets left if you guys want to come over and watch some YouTube with me.
Is it more shameful to have, like, reheated McNuggets, not even the original bag?
Nikki, we'll just put them in the air fryer.
I know, you can air fry that, and the
you know
fries,
what?
too.
They'll
might be better.
They will air fry right back into goodness. Don't you worry.
All right, the party's back on then.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
While we're talking about very expensive things, let's talk about living in San Francisco, Nikki.
It's very expensive.
It's crazy expensive.
Which is why you're like, I live in San Francisco, but you really don't. You live right outside.
You live outside of San Francisco.
It's hard to afford to be able to live there.
Nobody lives inside San Francisco. That's why everybody there is homeless. Because even the thing is that you just can't. You're in San Francisco. You have a job making $150,000 a year. You're homeless. That's what life is like in San Francisco. Right now, I'm looking at San Francisco's least expensive piece of property. It's the cheapest one.
Yeah, that they have for sale?
Yeah, and it just got a price cut. It is now this 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom house.
Looks like a garage.
Did you look at it?
Yeah. Well, I didn't look at the pictures. I just saw the story.
Okay.
But it does look like someone's garage that they're selling.
I don't know. It's nice. If you look at the inside, it looks nice. I mean, it's got a bedroom and a living room and a kitchen. Or am I supposed to
all in one?
It's an all-in-one.
It's an all-in-one. It's like a studio.
So how much do you think this thing costs? Or I guess you already know.
I've seen it. It's now listed for $600,000.
$600,000 for a 570 square foot cottage.
Now,
they're calling it a cottage.
A cottage. That's wordplay right there.
It is a renovated garage for sure.
I've seen a lot of in San Francisco. Like you could get some houses that are really bad shape, and they'll sell for millions of dollars because of the property. Like you're literally buying the land that it's on. You fix it up, and then you've got this even more $1 million house. But for this, I wonder if it's so cheap and it's still in San Francisco, which is still such a hot property area. Right. Why is it not selling when it's so inexpensive for that area?
I don't know.
It must not even be a good space.
Maybe not.
Meaning, like, the land is not worth it.
I don't know. Like looking at it,
you're seeing very tight, close shots.
Yes. So it's hard to be sure, but I will say, like, I don't know. Seems okay.
It looks nice.
My first apartment it's probably not that much smaller than my first apartment. I think it was like 900 square feet. But that had 2 bedrooms and it also had a dining room. So if you take the dining room and the extra bedroom out of that, that's probably about the same size, which I don't know, like it was livable.
It's a good space, but to buy, very expensive for that size. They're saying
what are you talking about? $600,000 for 500 square feet.
I mean, it's just like a rental size. But for San Francisco, the most expensive property is also on sale, not on sale, but like being sold. And that is on the market for $40.5 million. So that's your spread right there.
So $600,000 or $40.5 million or somewhere in between.
Somewhere in between if you want to live in San Francisco.
Okay. Well, you know what? That should be really easy. Because of all the money I'm saving on my phone, it'd be very easy for me to reinvest that into property in San Francisco.
You should look, and then maybe you'll get some money back.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
Are people really still listening to The Riot? You don't have work to do or laundry to fold or literally anything else to do? The Riot, Radio U.
Nikki, when were you born? February?
Yeah, February.
I was born in September. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like I have an advantage over you?
Because of where your birthday lies? Mm-hmm. No, not necessarily.
They say, I'm looking at this article, I've never heard this, but it makes sense when you think about it.
Is it the half year, or is it closer to Christmas or away from?
They say that if you're born in the fall, that it typically gives you an advantage, both a size and developmental advantage in the classroom, because you're going to be among the oldest students in your grade. And as a result of you being older...
Because they usually keep you from going up until you're older.
Because they say when you're a kid, like, if between the ages of like 25 and 26, but between the ages of like 8 and 9, you've got a huge amount of development that takes place there. So if you got somebody that is, just barely 8, but somebody else who is like almost 9, there's such a spread there, but they're in the same grade because of the way the cutoff works.
Sure.
And so,
where I would have been one of the younger ones, you would have been one of the older ones?
Actually, no.
The other way?
I was the youngest. See, the cutoff date happened, and they were like, you can either send your kid to school now, or you can hold him back a year.
See, I think now most places, if the cutoff date, they don't let you. Like, you don't get a choice anymore.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that for me, my mom went ahead and sent me. And looking back...
Were you not ready yet?
No. It was one of those things like where I was smart enough, but I don't think I was mature as like the other people in my grade. Because I can remember all my friends were like girls, and I was like, comic books?
We're not ready for that yet.
And they were like, I want to do this. And I was like, why?
Well, everybody grows up at different ages.
I'm just telling you, I distinctly remember that I was 17 as a senior, and I was, I think I was immature. I think every year I was just a little immature.
A little bit more immature than everybody else.
I will say my whole life I felt like a late bloomer. I feel like everybody is like, this is the new thing. This is what we should do. And I'm like, that's dumb. And then a while later, I'm like, yeah, we should try that.
I was the reverse. I was too mature. I was just like, I did everything that I needed to do, and I knew how to do it.
Well, see, I feel like I developed a false maturity.
Yeah.
Like I started to figure out like, okay, especially around the girls thing, when everybody's like, we like girls. And I'm like, me too, but I don't want to talk to them. Like, why would you talk to them?
Not that yet.
No way. They're cute, though.
I guess that's what I'm supposed to say.
And I just remember it was like, okay, I figured out that I better start acting older, even if I don't feel any older.
Yeah. False
maturity. Which is why even to this day, like in circumstances, I'll be like, yes, I know what I'm doing and I can take care of it. But on the inside, I'm like, we should go play games.
It's like how you really are.
I know.
You're really totally still like that.
It all started at a young age.
Yeah, that's just the way you are.
Yep. So, no, I didn't have an advantage, but I'm sure somebody else did somewhere. Yes, they did.
Using advanced technology, we've digitized and transcoded Obadiah and Nikki into a purely digital format. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I go to church, sure. Sunday, go to church. Why do I go? Free donuts. You're like, no, listen.
No, some places do offer.
At my church, they have free donuts. You can go there, and in the back.
And coffee, usually.
They have coffee and donuts. And, Nikki, they have like a lime water back there. Like a big water thing that's full of.
Oh, with the fruit and stuff, like a spa water.
Spa water, yeah. And they even have a break in the middle. They'll be like, all right, if anybody, you can get up and stretch, get coffee and donuts. And I'm like, gone! Sometimes I see the break coming, and I'll like get up and get back there first.
Lead the way.
First! So that way I can get the donuts and stuff that I want. And I feel good about getting donuts there for two reasons. One, they're Timbits, so I feel like I can trust them. And because Tim Hortons donuts are terrible, but their Timbits are glorious. And two, I feel like donuts don't count when someone else buys them for me. Like, if I go out and get donuts, I have a problem, and I need to get my life together. What's wrong with me? If somebody brings donuts, it's a free-for-all.
It'd be rude to not.
Yeah. I mean, how can I come in here where they have gone to the effort to purchase and place donuts out before me, and yet I'm too good to eat the donuts? Come on. So, of course, I
partake.
Eat the donuts. But you might think twice about the next time you visit your local house of worship when they've put out the cookies. Apparently there's some kind of I don't know if it was
Was it an edible or?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, I don't know if they're having like a potluck or what. But
if it's on the pot, like what is it?
Somebody brought.
Yeah.
Mr. Jones, they're calling him, did bring cookies to church.
Yeah.
And they were shared with everyone. And yes, Nikki, he had put a little ingredient in there.
Something in there.
Little something.
Now,
people started to notice they weren't doing well.
Sometimes what happens with like people who medically have it, they're like, oh, I'm going to make a double batch of cookies. And you're like, here's mine over there with
here's yours.
The medicine in it. And then on the other side, here's the potluck church pile. And then maybe he mixes it up. Or did they say he intentionally sent them in?
Seems intentional because they're like, okay, bro, like what? What did you do? What did you put in these cookies? He's like, nothing. What? Nothing.
Because everyone's having a good time.
Nothing. And so then the police go to his house. Aww. And they're like, really? What's this right here? And it was, in fact, marijuana that he had added to the cookies for everybody to.
I don't know why. It's like, of course you're going to get caught. People are going to notice and tell.
People are going to notice.
Yeah.
Well, and two, like, that's one of those things. I remember reading an article. I don't know. Was it Colorado? Was that the first place it was legal? There was one lady who wrote an article. She was like, yeah, I'd never had marijuana before, so I went to a store and I bought a marijuana cookie and I ate the whole cookie. And it was like,
you're not supposed to eat the whole cookie. You're only
supposed to eat like a fourth of the cookie.
So why don't they make the small cookie? But instead, they're making the big cookie.
So she had some crazy adverse reaction to it. And so she locked herself in her hotel room and she had for like 6 hours. Well, she had crazy paranoia because she'd had so much.
This is not something that people realize, but there are some people that are actually legitimately allergic to marijuana.
Yeah.
And man, when you take it and if you're allergic to it, you don't want to know what happens.
So I was just thinking in terms of like, if I went and they had all kinds of donuts out, and I have a tendency on some Sundays, not all Sundays, but a lot of Sundays, to maybe get a little too free.
Yeah, with
a little too free with the Timbits. I would have been one of those people that was just like, something's wrong.
Nick is correct. They shouldn't have called it a potluck then, because technically Nick is right. I mean, don't call it that if you don't want people to bring pot. If it's your luck that you get the pot cookie.
Shut up, Nick.
It's not our Nick. It's another Nick. I mean, that could have been the guy's argument.
You know what? That's the high point. Let's get it while we can.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh, no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.
Everybody's like, we like girls. And I'm like, me too, but I don't want to talk to them.